This is Deborah Atkinson. Welcome to the Flipping 50 Show, where I address your top questions and challenges so you can have more energy and less fatigue, decision fatigue, about what to eat, how to move, and so you can change your thoughts to flip 50 and have the life and the energy you love in this second half. Do you ever stand in front of your closet saying, I have nothing to wear and I dislike everything I own? Do you wish you knew how to dress for your body type and how to feel better again in clothes? If you answered yes, you're in the right place. My guest today is Sandra Veum, and she's going to have to tell me if I've slaughtered her last name. We're talking today about how to build confidence. And it's an often missing link in the self-care steps for women. Often what I get from polls and surveys most frequently is the reason you're not doing everything that you know you should do or that you'd feel better doing is more a self-worth, self-confidence, and you're so used to pouring things into other people. And if that resonates with you, we're going to talk about how can you build a wardrobe that is all about you feeling confident in your skin right now. Sandra is a highly sought-after personal wardrobe stylist in San Diego. Sandra helps enhance your current style and become a better version of yourself. She focuses her efforts on your individual needs, body type, and budget rather than a specific designer brand or store. She believes everyone can be effortlessly chic with their own individual style and at any price. Individual style comes from a person being inspired, open-minded, and confident with who they are. She'll help you develop your own personal style and integrate it into your life. Sandra started her profession in 2006 and since has been critical in transforming the styles of many of her clients. She also offers closet evaluations where she helps you edit, organize, shop your own closet while creating your own lookbook. Sandra's been working with individuals, groups, and companies for the last several years, helping them find the new version of you. I can't wait to have Sandra tell us a little bit more about shopping and dressing for the you now and the you that you want to be. Sandra, thanks so much for being here.
Well, thank you very much. I'm super excited to be here.
You know, there was a time when I would have said, who doesn't like to talk about shopping? But, anymore, I even don't like it. It's time. It's not just the, I can never find anything, but it's the time and it's the, then there's the comparison shopping. It's like, so you're a goddess already in my life.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. But, no, really, shopping has become a little overwhelming as well. I think, the stores, when you walk in, a lot of my clients say they just don't even know where to begin or how to navigate through the store, and they're just overwhelmed. They're discouraged. And I try to enlighten them on better shopping and more strategic ways to go about stores and to really find the areas that best suits their style and their body type and their budget and needs. So try to make it more of a, fun experience, if you will.
I need that. I so need that. So let me, while you were talking in describing that, I think of it a little bit like grocery shopping. I mean, it's almost like, if you stop at the store and you don't have a list, that too is overwhelming, or at least you end up with a cart full of stuff you never intended to get. Is it a little bit like that? I mean, have a plan,
Bingo.
know the plan, work the plan.
Well, absolutely. And I always say, especially at the very beginning, if you really are trying to redo your whole style, or let's say your body is at different stages, it's best to sort of write down a plan, just like anything, and investing in yourself and your style really should be treated, whether you are planning a dinner party, like you said, with a grocery list and a plan, or let's say refurbishing your house. You wouldn't just go and just start winging it. You really have to be strategic about it. And at the beginning, you're trying to build a foundation with foundation essential pieces. And then as you have those, And as you go on, you can just be a little bit more free in single item purchases that just sort of add flavor to your style that you currently have with that fundamental essential wardrobe capsule collection, if you will.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, so can you talk to me about, so the analogy, it probably not my best one, but we're talking about the cake, right? The foundation.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what's good foundation? What should I have in my closet?
Well, I always say everyone is a little bit different. There are some key fundamental pieces, but you really have to also think about your lifestyle, because what fits us at some point in our life, it does change over time as we get older. And so these are, loosely items, but for me, I always say you always need that go-to dress. Even if someone says, well, I hate dresses, I never wear dresses. At some point in your life, you may have an event or something that you'll need a dress to. So have that go-to dress. You definitely want finding a great fitting pant is probably one of the hardest things ever. It's almost worse than bathing suit shopping, to be honest with you, because finding the best rise, which is, from the area, let's just say, your crotch up to your waist. That is what's called.
It's okay. It's not a family show. You can say that. I know.
Okay. It's better visually if you see me, but that's called the rise. Sorry. And where it hits at your waist, I always call that, you want to feel lock and loaded in your pant. You want to feel secure in that. And that doesn't always necessarily mean as high as possible. That is just at what's comfortable to you. But finding that perfect pant and having that in your wardrobe is key. You also want denim, because in today's world, it's all about denim. A lot of now companies allow you to wear them not just on casual Fridays, but throughout the work week if it is a dark denim and not distressed. So you want a great pair of denim. You want blouses. In addition to, a lot of times when I do closets, people will have a bunch of T-shirts and, just shirts and more casual. I always say you want to add blouses. You want to have different materials as well so that you can have variety of looks on your body type. You want jackets. I love jackets. Jackets to me is like an exclamation point at the end of a sentence. It sort of completes a look. And a lot of times people say, well, I get very hot during the day, so I can't wear jackets. And what I say to that is that you want different textures, and an open weave jacket breathes still underneath your arm or around your body, but it still adds a little bit of flavor to your outfit and not just always wearing a shirt and a pair of pants. I also say you need accessories. Accessories are the most economical way to change up an outfit. And what I love about accessories is that they always fit. A scarf is always going to fit you. Necklaces are always going to fit you. You want to have variety. You want to have statement pieces, which is closer up to your neckline. And you also want length. So you want longer pieces as well in both gold and silver. Again, this is adding variety to your wardrobe. It also helps create the illusion of, if you don't have a V-neck, but you know that you want to sort of maybe camouflage a bigger chest, by putting on a longer necklace, that gives the eye the illusion of something lengthening. So it creates almost a V-neck in itself. I say you need a bootie, a dressy heel, a sandal, a flat, and a cool sneaker. And then for your purses, I always say you need a great tote, an everyday purse, and a clutch. I'm big on a clutch at night because to me, that's where you want to step it up. Whether you're going to dinner with friends or a date night or your significant other, switch out your purse and put your essentials in that clutch and show up amazing. It looks just like you put a little bit extra effort than just your same old bag that you've been carrying all day long and all month long.
Love that. Those are some great tips.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I can go on and on. Sorry.
Talk slow. I'm remedial, so I have to go back, and I want to talk a couple of things. So first, the go-to dress. I want to talk a little bit about, well, number one, I probably used to be one of those people who would say, I never wear a dress. I actually love them now. Give me one piece. I don't have to worry about so many details. I love that one piece.
Right.
Are they more popular now than they used to be?
I don't know if I would say they're more popular. I think they've always been popular. It's just everyone's style, and what their go-to is, what they feel confident in. And for the person that, the woman that always says, I feel more confident in a pant, I say that's fantastic. But again, this is about variety. You don't want to be known as the gal that always wears pants. You want to be known as the gal that has great style. That means variety as well. And I'm not trying to push dresses on someone that doesn't like dresses, but it's nice to have a couple of those dresses in your wardrobe. Because as you mentioned, you'd be surprised once you find a great fitting dress, it is easy, especially traveling. You don't have to worry about separates and putting something together. It speaks for itself, and that's easy to accessorize. Does that make sense?
Love that. Yeah.
Okay.
Love that. Okay. So my next question, when you're talking foundation, you're talking that go-to dress, you're talking, great fitting pants. I mean, are you talking neutrals or black, or can that be color depending on you?
Always. I mean, everything you just said, yes, yes, and yes.
I love you.
Variety. And so what I always say is that a lot of that has to do with body type. So for instance, if let's say you're a pear shape, which obviously you're smaller on top than the bottom of your hips, you want to give the illusion of downplaying the larger part of your body. So I would recommend you would go darker color. Obviously, black is great for everyone's wardrobe. You don't have to worry about it getting dirty. The minute you wear a white pant, it seems like you managed to sit in something. I mean, that's just Murphy's Law, right?
Right.
Not that you can't have a pair of white pants or jeans. I do think you need a pair in your wardrobe. But black is always in style and always in season. But you can also do different colors that are a darker tone to give the illusion of camouflaging and making it smaller. And then what you would do on top to make the illusion of it bigger is you can wear print or lighter colors. That's for a pear shape. And the whole idea is to think of an hourglass shape. And that's not because we all have to look like Halle Berry, which, God, I would love to all day long. But it's more about, she's just stunning, but it's more about symmetry with your shoulders and your hips, and then emphasizing your waist. And sometimes people will say, well, I don't have a waist. We give the illusion of a waist, and there are different ways to create an illusion of a waist. But a pear-shaped gal does have a waist. And so you're trying to balance out and broaden your shoulders by giving a print or a lighter color, then matching it to camouflaging the bottom of a darker color. So again, looking straight on, it balances out the symmetry of your shoulders to your hips.
Love that. And probably a lot of our listeners can identify with pear shape. But yes. What else? So other body types.
Yes. So, hourglass, hourglass, again, you can be different sizes and be an hourglass. So I mentioned Halle Berry. There's also Queen Latifah, where she is technically an hourglass because no matter what size you are, it's about your shoulders matching your hips. So being the same. So always keep that in mind, because sometimes people hear hourglass and they think Marilyn Monroe. And no, you don't have to look like Marilyn Monroe. It's just about the balancing of your shoulders with your hips. So for instance, I always say a banana. Sometimes you can say a rectangle shape. That is just more of a boyish figure where you really are straight up and down. Their shift dress is always nice. And a shift dress, a lot of times people confuse sheath and shift. So a sheath dress is the one that you see a lot of business styles have, and it's the one that is a little bit more form-fitted on your figure, and that looks great on an hourglass. A shift dress is one that's a little bit looser, but not super loose, but just more of a slight triangle. And the way I remember it is that if I had it on, I could move around in it, so I could shift around in it. That's the easiest way to remember the difference between the two. But a shift dress is something that just sort of gives just more of something that's someone that's rectangle, just sort of skims you to kind of create more shape. And there's also other ways. Wearing belts at the waist will create the illusion of a waist. There's just little techniques throughout. And a lot of times if people are not at their ideal weight, they think they can't wear a sheath dress because it's form-fitted. And that's actually not true. What you want to do is you want to look for paneling and color blocking. So sometimes you'll see a sheath dress where it's a lighter color in the middle, and then what they've done is they have two dark panels on the side, kind of at a half-moon angle. So again, it gives the illusion of that fabulous, waist and the symmetry with your shoulders and your hips. So it's very surprising when we go shopping, when you put something on that they used to stay away from, they can see the difference. It's the material. If you're not at your ideal weight, you want to stay away from thicker, structured materials. You want to have that give in the material.
Yeah.
So
so true. Who would want, right? I mean, I think we can all identify with that waistline digging in.
Oh, yeah. No one wants that. I mean, Fashion should not kill. I mean, fashion is still comfort, and we are California. And let's just, here anyways, I know we're everywhere out there, but, I'm in California. So it's everywhere. I think it kind of speaks to anyone. You want to be comfortable, but sometimes people confuse that with
yoga pants.
Lack of yoga pants, or sometimes just sloppy, a laziness factor. And you can be very comfortable in a lot of different looks. Not to downplay yoga pants, because athleisure wear is one of the fastest growing looks and, genres now out there, and it's ever growing. Mm-hmm. But what I always tell people is, again, a variety. You don't want to, wear that every day in and day out, because then it also becomes a uniform. And then you just, how boring is that? I hated wearing a uniform when I had, my other jobs.
Yeah, so true. Yeah. And so we could put ourselves in a box even while we get out of one. That's what I hear you saying. Okay, correct. So we have the banana and the pear. What's the third shape?
Well, there was hourglass, which we talked about.
Oh, okay.
And then that is a shape. And then apple. I try to keep it very simple. If you Google different body types, I can't even tell you. You're overwhelmed. There's so many different types. But, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. And with the apple is really more about wearing well-fitted undergarments. It's about wearing tops that end below the widest part of your stomach. It's about wearing V-necks and tops that drape your body. But sometimes people overkill this. And what I find when you have more of an apple body, and that just means that you're round from your shoulders to the bottom, of your stomach area. And usually you have these great legs, and that they tend to wear too big of sizing, where it becomes the tent factor. And you really want to be careful about that. Nowadays, they've really come a long way with, especially plus sizing. They're still fitting patterns and structures, but it's about the material that they use. So it's really about still fitting your body, creating the illusion of a waist, but finding where it hits you at the right part of your body. And V-necks are your best friend, because, again, you're trying to create the illusion of camouflaging and downplaying items that you want to try to make smaller with the eye. Does that kind of give you an idea?
Yeah, I love that.
A wrap dress. A wrap dress is great for an apple body.
Ah, okay.
And they do, believe it or not, they do make wrap dresses. I mean, a lot of times people think, oh, that's Diane von Furstenberg, and you have to be a model to wear that. That's actually not true. So, that's just a little idea.
So a wrap dress. Wrap dress would be great for an apple shape. What about for a banana? What would be complementary?
A banana, is more of like if they wear a sheath dress, I would put a belt on it. Or, again, find a sheath dress that has almost a built-in belt where it's color blocked. So, for instance, let's say it was a sheath dress that was, white panel on front, the top, and then let's say blue on the bottom, but it had a black, almost like sewn-in belt, You know what I mean? But not like an actual belt, but just a panel. That creates the illusion of a waist, because someone that is a banana or a rectangle is straight up and down. So you're trying to showcase, make something, bigger on top. White is a color that will do that. And then you're trying to create that waist with that panel, or add a belt and a colored belt. They also look great in a shift dress, because a shift dress just sort of glides on the body. So just to kind of, those are just a couple examples.
Awesome. So does the hourglass body form look good in anything, or can they make mistakes too?
Well, first of all, everyone can make mistakes. And I say go for it with making mistakes, because you really aren't going to learn what really does work until you make mistakes. I mean, right? That's kind of life, I think, life's rule anyway. So don't be afraid to try different styles. But the hourglass is probably the most, I always say, the most universal of the body type that can, fit in things. The thing with an hourglass is a lot of the times they do have what I call the girls, since this isn't a family, the breasts. I like to call them the girls. So with the girls, they, sometimes a shift dress or a trapeze dress maybe isn't the best, because when you turn sideways, anytime you have breasts, it pushes it out. So you kind of lose your body form. You don't want the clothes to wear you. You always want to make sure you are wearing the clothes.
Love that statement.
Yeah. So an hourglass can, go ahead.
Well, I want to finish this, but let's loop back then to like talking about patterns and things like that, and how patterns might wear us. But talk to me about pear shape. So let's kind of continue down this line. And you really described really best things for that. So it's downplaying the hips with darker colors, especially on the bottom, and maybe light on top. Am I doing okay, Coach?
Yes, and print. And by the way, a dress for a pear shape, an A-line works for that. An A-line shape, or sometimes they're called a fit and flare. So it's tighter on top, and then it just gently goes out, not like a cupcake, but just sort of gently, like a triangle goes out, so it just lays on your body versus being form-fitted, because that would emphasize your hips.
Got it. Great tip. Okay. So
and by the way, to print, your print question.
Yes.
I don't follow a lot. I'll be honest with you. There's so many rules that a lot of times people write about, and I feel that there should be maybe some guidelines to follow. But for instance, I'm 5'2", and if you Google anything about how to dress for, the vertically challenged 5'2", it will tell you to always wear monochromatic, all the same color, stay away from big prints. There's all these rules, and I feel differently about that. I have to say, if you are someone that has a big personality, which I do, I've always said I have always felt 5'8". I'm not, and I know that. I'm not delusional. But if I put something on and I feel good in a color or a print, and I know I can rock that and wear that, I say by all means do it. I feel that sometimes we get pigeonholed into rules, and it doesn't let you express yourself either. Again, there are guidelines, but I don't always want to wear monochromatic. I like monochromatic, but I want variety as well. So I will wear a big print. I will sometimes break some of those rules, and I carry it. And it's funny, a lot of times people think I'm taller than I am until I take my heels off, and I don't always wear heels, but then, they're like, wow, you really are short.
But, petite, right? I like petite.
Well, I like to say vertically challenged. I'm okay. I embrace it. But again, don't feel that you always have to wear something because of your body. You know what I mean? It's just a guideline. It's just a guideline.
I love that. Yeah. And it is all about breaking rules. And I want to share with our listeners a little story. I was kind of telling you about it in the green room before we started recording today. I talked this morning with one of my private clients who's really into a journey she's been on for almost 3 months by now, and, has had significant things to overcome that have lasted for a long time, but she is also in her 50s. She's lost, a significant amount of weight. That's not been her focus, but she's reaching for things. So she's not any longer really looking at the scale. She's actually signed up for a half marathon. And, this was someone who went on vacation really worried about being exposed to friends and what they typically have done on their vacation, which was drink and, go out to places where there was pizza. And she was super nervous about that. So on the other side of vacation, she's calling me saying, what do you think about me doing a half marathon? And I'm like, what? What happened to you? Where did you go? And, I said, I think you should do it right now today. Do not think twice about it. Let's do this. And,
right.
So big thing. She's gone back to work after having a little sabbatical and leaving a stressful job, and needed in the process. She's changed, and she really didn't have anything to wear that fit her anymore. She's now, a 16 to 18, and she was wearing a 20, and, they were sloppy, and she knew it. So she said, I went shopping and I feel so good. I love my clothes. It's fun to shop now. And she said, it's not that anybody was holding me back. My husband kept saying, please take my card and just go shopping. He said, you're wearing yoga pants and a T-shirt everywhere, and please don't do that again. And, so she had lots of encouragement. It was her holding herself back. And when she went, her voice just is changed when she's talking to me on the phone as she's describing how it feels to get dressed and be in these clothes. And it's the message, that you send yourself. It's the who that shows up when you're dressed differently, and most likely the how you will take care of that person differently. And I think that was our message today. Of course, it's fun to talk about, how to prepare, especially in change of seasons as we, go into fall as we're recording. But it's appropriate at any time when you're, not quite feeling your best. There is something to be said for grooming and putting your best self out there and seeing then who shows up. I love that. And so, Sandra, can we tell the little secret about what you've offered to do?
It was for people,
for listeners. Yeah. To have the opportunity. So, if you're listening, Sandra's got a process that she goes through to work with people. She's got a questionnaire. And if you would like her to take a look at your body type, and you want to fill out the questionnaire, we want you to send, a picture of yourself in an outfit or two, and, to fill in the questionnaire. So she's got a little background on you, and we can black out your face. We don't have to see that if you prefer to be anonymous. Absolutely. And we don't have to use your name. So just knowing that, we just need the details of, what's going on, what you need, what you want. And we'll do a few. Sandra, how many are you willing to do?
Well, I say let's start with 3, and we'll,
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So first 3. So I'm going to put that out there in the show notes. We'll include a link to the questionnaire, and then your job will be fill that out, send that back in along with a picture. So you can use your phone. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. If you don't know how to block your face out, I will do it. Promise, you've got that from us. Yes. And then Sandra will come back on when she's had a chance to do her homework, and we will, actually lay out, what we did and what the recommendations would be. So if you'd like her to virtually be standing there with you, either at the department store or in front of your closet, she can do that. So jump on that. And please do.
I just wanted to add in real quick when filling out the questionnaire, because this does happen sometimes. People get a little stuck in some of the questions. And I always say, really clear your mind and push yourself. So, for instance, sometimes the question of whose style do you admire? And I just put examples of designer, person, TV show. It could be architecture. It could be music, art. Just really, there's a lot of things in our world that should stimulate and inspire us, and that can lead into your style. So really push yourself and try to answer all the questions. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Love that. Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay. And Sandra, this is the most interesting. Potentially it's the hardest question, but I ask all of my guests at the end of the show, is there a question that you wish I would have asked you?
Wish you would have asked me. Well, you've asked some great ones. We honestly could go on, but I think one of the biggest one is, and I don't know if it's more of a question as a statement, but, as to a lot of times I hear that people think a wardrobe stylist is for the rich and elite or someone who's, in shape and looks great in clothing. And maybe a question would be, why now? Why me? And how does it really benefit me? Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Because, go ahead.
I just am thinking, there are so many changes we go through in life, but definitely, at midlife, this is a big change for a woman. And I don't mean the change and the menopause and the whole mystery that it really is not, by the way, but we're changing roles. Maybe it's that our, nest is different than it was. And if you didn't have children, it still may be that you're shifting careers or you're climbing the ladder. And, so much is changing that even if you've had a style that you felt was yours, there most likely is a time to do it again, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. I'm 52. And I do have one child, and she will be leaving for college. And, 52 years young. And she's leaving to college. So my life is that next chapter. And what does it look like? And that's why in my bio and when I talk to people, I always say we are in transition throughout our whole life. So whether it's from, your first internship to your first career to dating, to marriage, to divorce, I'm sorry, but, it happens in life, to even, weight gain, weight loss, pregnancy, the menopausal time period, plastic surgery. It covers the gamut. And at every point and stage in your life, we really need to be the best version of ourselves, whatever that is at that time. And maybe maybe you're not at your ideal weight, but at that you still need to feel and look good about yourself and invest in yourself, and maybe not blow the bank at that point, but give a little bit of something to make you feel good, because it is a fact that people make an impression within 7 seconds. And that's based on your dressing style, your appearance, your body language, and your mannerisms. So it's how you look and how you feel about yourself. So it's really important to think about that through every transition in your life.
Yeah, I love that. I think, it's so easy for me. I can look at my closet and think, if these fit me and my style or the image I had for myself maybe 10 or 15 years ago, but I'm like, it's so hard to part with these babies. It's like, they're not me anymore.
And there's some questioning that goes with that, because I run into that all the time with closets. And what we do as we're editing is I will have them, the emotional ties, we'll put that one aside. And then we kind of keep the process going, because you don't want to be stagnant in that process. And then once you get through the process, we always go back and revisit it. And 90% of the time they're ready to get rid of it, because probably the most universal is, well, when I lose my last X amount of pounds, I'm going to wear those. And what I always say, because usually they're like, 5, 10 years old, and styles have evolved and changed, even with pants and jeans. Materials are different. The textiles have really become very forward and a lot more comfortable and durable. So things are constantly changing. And I always say, if and when you get to that ideal weight, are you going to run to the back of your closet, clear off the dust off of those pants to wear from 5, 10 years ago? Heck no. You're going to want to reward yourself and go, I'm going shopping. I'm rewarding myself. And you don't need a lot of money to do that. There are so many different places with different budgets that have some great opportunities to shop at.
And that was the closet coach right there. What a great question.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's many of those. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Where can go ahead?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, everyone kind of feels like that they're alone, like they're the only ones feeling this way. I will tell you right now, there are very common, universal things for both men and women of why we hold on to certain things. So just feel better about yourself. You're not alone.
Perfect. All right. Yes. Where can audience members get more of you between now and our next show? What's your website? And everybody listening, I'm going to put this in the URL. So if you're walking or you're weightlifting, keep doing your deal and you can come back later.
Absolutely.
Where's your website?
My website is mymariposastyle.com. And that is butterfly in Spanish, by the way. Yes. And the whole idea behind my company. Yeah, well, I wanted something that what was an object that was beautiful in any different size, shape, color, that after they go through it evolving. So starting in a cocoon, waiting for that time period, and then they blossom as a beautiful butterfly. So that's where the Mariposa comes in. But it's, again, mymariposastyle.com.
Perfect. And again, that'll be in the show notes, everybody. And if there was a question and you're listening, you have a question and I didn't ask it, leave it below the show link at flipping50.com. That's all spelled out, no numbers, no spaces, and join us on the Facebook fan page at Flipping50TV. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a rating in iTunes and then share this with a friend so you can surround yourself with a supportive community of women on the same journey. What are you waiting for? Let's start Flipping 50 together.